Welcome to the Stoic Manhood Guide. Have you ever noticed that sometimes, the moment you start feeling closer to a woman, she suddenly pulls away? It almost feels like she's losing interest, right? When the connection should be at its strongest, leaving you completely confused and questioning everything. But here is the paradoxical truth that most men never understand. Many times, a woman isn't pushing you away because she doesn't want you. She is pushing you away precisely because she wants you more than she is ready to admit. This is where female psychology gets tricky. A powerful attraction can also make a woman feel incredibly vulnerable, and her first instinct is often to distance herself to regain a sense of control. Before we dive into the reasons why this happens, I want you to ask yourself a question. Think about a time you experienced this exact scenario. In that moment of confusion, what was your gut reaction? Most men either chase harder or give up completely, and both are often the wrong move. In this video, we are going to break down the real psychology behind her actions, the fears she won't admit, and the subconscious tests she is running, not just on you, but on her own emotions. By the end of this, you will understand that her pulling away doesn't always mean rejection. In fact, in many cases, it means she is right on the edge of falling for you, and how you respond next will determine everything. Reason number 1, her fear of losing control. When a woman pushes you away, right at the peak of connection, it often has nothing to do with you. It is about her own internal battle with one of the most powerful and terrifying human emotions, vulnerability. One of the strongest forces at play here is her fear of losing control. You have to understand that from a young age, many women are taught, either consciously or subconsciously, that giving in to their emotions too quickly or too deeply puts them at risk. There is a risk of being hurt, a risk of being abandoned, and a risk of being taken for granted by a man who gets what he wants and then leaves. So, when her feelings for you start to grow from simple interest into something much stronger, her internal alarm system can go into overdrive. Instead of leaning into that powerful feeling, she suddenly leans back. From your perspective, this can feel completely illogical and confusing. You're likely thinking to yourself, if she really likes me, why is she suddenly acting so distant? Why is she creating space when all I want is to get closer? The answer lies in her psychology. For her, that intense attraction isn't just excitement, it is a profound sense of vulnerability. And to someone who has learned to protect her heart, that feeling of vulnerability can feel dangerously close to weakness. This is why you will often see women sending mixed signals when things start getting serious. One day she is warm, affectionate, and even craving your attention. The next day, she might act distant, cold, or detached, leaving you wondering what you did wrong. What is happening internally is a battle. Her emotions are pulling her forward towards you. But her fear, her self-preservation instinct, is pulling her backward towards safety. Now, I want you to think about a time in your own life when you felt truly vulnerable. Was your first instinct to lean into that feeling and expose yourself more, or was it to pull back and regain your sense of control and safety? Most men misinterpret this push back completely. They take her distance as a sign of rejection and react in one of two ways, both of which tend to backfire. The first reaction is to chase harder. You send more texts, you ask more questions, you try to overwhelm her with reassurance. But this only confirms her fear that she is losing control, because now you are adding even more pressure to the situation. The second reaction is to get offended and walk away completely. But this can reinforce her deepest fear, that if she shows even a hint of uncertainty, she will be abandoned. The key is not to panic. The Stoic response is to see her push back for what it truly is, a defense mechanism, not a final verdict on you. Your job is not to fix her feelings or to chase them down. Your job is to remain the calm, steady, unshakable man she was attracted to in the first place. You give her the space she is creating, but you do it with a quiet confidence that communicates, "I am still here. I am not going anywhere. Take the time you need." That combination of space and stability is what makes her feel safe. It shows her that you are strong enough to handle her vulnerability without panicking. When she feels that safety, the fear subsides, and the desire to be close to you returns, often stronger than before. Reason number 2. She is testing your strength. When a woman pulls away even though she likes you, one of the biggest reasons is because she is, on a deep and often subconscious level, testing your strength. Now, I don't mean she is consciously sitting there, plotting ways to play with your emotions. Most of the time, this test is an instinctual process. It's not about manipulation, it's about her survival and emotional security. By nature, women want to know if the man they are investing their time and emotions in can handle pressure, uncertainty, and emotional turbulence. And nothing exposes a man's true nature faster than how he reacts when a woman he desires suddenly shifts her energy and pulls away from him. Here's what you need to understand. Attraction isn't just built on how fun, handsome, or charming you are. A huge component of attraction is whether she feels emotionally secure in your presence. That sense of security doesn't come from you making grand promises or chasing after her with constant reassurance. It comes from how you carry yourself when she withdraws. Does your world crumble? Do you panic and blow up her phone? Do you become angry or needy and immediately demand answers? Or do you stay centered, calm, and grounded, like a man who is not easily shaken by the shifting winds of another person's emotions? Women instinctively respect and are drawn to the man who does not lose his frame. Think about this from her perspective. If a man cannot handle the pressure of her taking a few hours to text back, how can she trust him to handle the real challenges of life and a long-term relationship? When she pulls away, she is not just creating distance. She is creating a moment of truth. In that silence, in that space she has created, she is watching. Maybe not consciously, but her emotions are gouging you. She is learning what kind of man you truly are. If you react with neediness or anger, she instantly feels less attraction. Not because she doesn't like you, but because deep down, a man who cannot control his own emotions makes her feel fundamentally unsafe. On the other hand, when you hold your ground, when you do not chase, when you continue living your life with purpose, without begging for her attention, you are sending her the most powerful signal a man can send. That signal is, I am solid. I am not shaken by your moods. My emotional state is not dependent on your constant validation. I am here because I choose to be, not because I need to be. That kind of grounded, masculine energy is incredibly magnetic to a woman. It reassures her that if she invests her emotions in you, she won't be punished for her own moments of doubt or fear. If this deep dive into psychology is giving you a new level of clarity, it would mean the world to us if you could support the channel. Please take a moment to hit the like button, share this video with a friend who needs it, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future guides. Your support is what allows us to keep making this content. The brutal truth is, a woman will test you. Not with words, but through her actions. The moment you collapse under those tests, you lose ground. So when she pushes you away, do not rush to fix it. That is exactly what she is testing against. Instead, stay calm. Continue focusing on your goals, your work, your health. Show her through your actions, not your words, that you are steady. When she feels that unwavering strength, her own fear fades, her tests soften, and she is drawn right back into your orbit, this time with even more respect and desire. Reason number 3, she needs an emotional reset. Sometimes, when a woman pulls away, even though she clearly likes you, it has absolutely nothing to do with you. It is not a test of your strength, and it is not a reaction to something you did wrong. Sometimes, it is simply her way of hitting the pause button. She is taking an emotional reset. Women, on the whole, tend to be more emotionally attuned creatures. Their feelings can run deep, they can fluctuate, and sometimes, especially in the intoxicating early stages of a new connection, they can become overwhelming. Pulling back is not always a sign of rejection. It can be her way of catching her breath and processing everything she is feeling. Think about it this way. In the beginning, everything feels exciting, magnetic, and new. The dopamine hits are constant. But as those powerful emotions continue to build, so does the internal pressure. For many women, that level of intensity can trigger a need for introspection. She starts asking herself important questions like, is this moving too fast? Do I really know him well enough to feel this strongly? What if I get hurt again? What if he's not who I think he is? Instead of talking these anxious thoughts out loud, many women will retreat into silence and distance to recalibrate. This is where most men completely mess up. They mistake her need for space as a rejection of them. So they panic and immediately try to force the closeness again. They call, they text, they show up unannounced, or they start interrogating her with questions like, "What's wrong? Are you mad at me?" In doing so, they destroy the very space she desperately needs to feel safe and process her emotions. I want you to reflect on your own friendships. When a good friend says they need a day to themselves to clear their head, do you take it personally, or do you respect their need for space? If a woman is pulling back for an emotional reset, your job is not to chase. Your job is to grant her that breathing room, without drama or resentment. Here is the psychology behind it. When she takes that step back, if you allow her that space, a beautiful thing often happens. She begins to miss you. She starts to remember all the positive feelings and why she liked you in the first place. Her emotions rebalance. And when she comes back to you, her feelings are often stronger, more stable, and more certain. But if you suffocate her during this crucial process, she will begin to associate your presence with pressure instead of comfort. This is why emotional resets are not only normal, but can also be incredibly healthy for the longevity of a connection. They allow her to move past her initial fears and into a deeper, more stable form of attraction. The man who can respect that process, the man who can show her that he is secure enough to withstand her temporary absence, is the man she will value and trust in the long term. Just like the ocean has waves that pull back before crashing stronger on the shore, women sometimes retreat before they return with even more energy and desire. So, at the end of the day, a woman pushing you away when she wants you most is one of the greatest paradoxes in dating. It isn't a rejection of you. In many cases, It is a direct reflection of the intensity of the feelings you inspire in her. It is her fear of vulnerability, her subconscious test of your strength, or her need for an emotional reset. The real test, then, is not hers, but yours. The way you handle that distance speaks louder than anything you could ever say when you are close to her. Most men panic. They chase, they demand, they try to fix something that doesn't actually need fixing, and that is exactly when they lose her respect, and eventually her attraction. Here is the final lesson: your job is not to chase her, but to be the unshakable man she can come back to. If you can remain calm, steady, and grounded in your own life, you show her that you are a safe harbor for her emotions. When she feels that strength, her fear fades, her tests soften, and she is drawn right back into your orbit, often with more certainty than before. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been in a situation where a woman pulled away right when things were getting intense? How did you handle it, and what was the outcome? Share your experience in the comments below, because your story might help another man see things differently. If this guide gave you a new perspective, please hit the like button and share this video with a man you know who is struggling to understand this dynamic and to continue mastering this level of psychology. Make sure you subscribe. This has been the Stoic Manhood Guide. Remember, attraction isn't just about how you act when she's close. It's about who you are when she's distant.